Islam is in a long line of prophetic tradition. The Prophet ﷺ also said, حَدِّثُوا عَنْ بَنِي إِسْرَائِيل وَلَا حَرَجْ. You can tell the stories and quote the people of the previous dispensation, the Jews, without any blame. So I want to quote a passage from Isaiah, because the Quran says, كُتِبَ the Quran says, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِن قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. That fasting has been prescribed for you just as it was prescribed upon those who preceded you. The Jews, the Christians, and all the other dispensations that came before had fasting as a spiritual practice. So I want to quote from Isaiah about fasting in 58 verses 6 and 7. Isaiah says, "Is not this the fast that I choose, to loose the bonds of injustice, to undo the thongs of the yoke, to let the oppressed go free, to break every yoke? Is it not to share your bread with the hungry and bring the homeless poor into your house, when you see the naked to cover them and not to hide yourselves from your own kin?" This passage, which is reiterated in our own tradition, when the Prophet ﷺ said that on the Day of Judgment, God would say to people, "I was hungry and you didn't feed me." And the people will say, "How could we feed you? You're the Lord of the world." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "Didn't you know that my servant so-and-so was hungry? And had you gone and fed him, you would have found me with him." This is one of the central aspects of fasting, is to show a solidarity with the less fortunate, with people that are hungry. There are people all over the world that literally do not have food to fill their bellies. And fasting is a time when we are reminded of the pangs of hunger, that these are real things, that unlike us who are fasting, this is a voluntary hunger. In other words, we are personally choosing to fast, to give up food and to experience that. But there are many millions of people around the world, and even in the United States of America, that this is not something that's voluntary. It's something they experience every day because they don't have enough food. And so it's an important time to remember to bring the homeless into your house. That doesn't mean that you have to literally bring them in, but at least go out and take care of the people that are out there that are in need. One of the things that we're witnessing right now is a collapse of Western capitalism. We're seeing a collapse of the economic system. This economic system is based on greed. It's based on the idea that every man for himself, and it's falling apart. This is a time of immense transformation, and Ramadan is a time of transformation. It's a time when we can actually reassess our lives, reprioritize, looking at the important things in our life. And one of the most important things is, what are we doing here? The Quran asks all of us a question, فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ? Where then are you going? And this is a question that we all have to ask ourselves. Where are we going as individuals? Where are we going as families? Where are we going as a society? Our society in the United States of America, and this is where I reside, this is where we have a large Muslim community, our society right now is in a crisis. But a lot of the crises is a direct result of misguided priorities, of people that put everything into themselves and forgot about the others. When you begin to give up self-interest and think of the common weal, God will take care of your self-interest. But when you focus on your self-interest and forget the common weal, God will cause you to even forget your own self-interest. Nasallah فَأَنْسَاهُمْ أَنفُسُهُمْ. They forgot God, so God caused them to forget themselves. In other words, their priorities were all wrong. When God is at the center of your priority in life, you are at the center of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's providential care. But when you displace God and put substitutes for God in place of God, then you fall on the rung of the centrality of His providential care. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises, إِن تَنْصُرُ اللَّهِ يَنْصُرْكُمْ. If you help God, God will help you.